Welcome to the Star Podcast.
Wow. Star Podcast.
Welcome to the Star Podcast, hosted by TPS Group of Companies. Each week, we share tips and stories from safety, trucking, and recruitment, and everything in between. Listen now. Thanks so much for joining us for another episode of the Star Podcast. Today, I'm talking to Shannon all about the different A training offered by Northern Academy. Shannon has joined us previously, so make sure you go check out her previous episodes where she talks all about the D licensing at Northern Academy, as well as the licensing requirements when you buy a motorhome. Listen now. So I'm very excited to welcome Shannon back to the show. So Shannon, if you could just quickly introduce yourself and let us know where you work and what you do, that'd be great.
My name's Shannon. I work for Northern Academy of Transportation Training. I am the admissions manager for the company. I give everybody the information that they need for our programs and get them enrolled.
So I just hope that we could talk a little bit about the different AZ training that's offered at Northern Academy. So what type of A training does Northern Academy offer?
Well, we do have a lot of different programs. So our most popular one is our AZ program.
Okay.
This program is 6 weeks of training. We have 1 week of theory, 5 weeks of hands-on training. We also provide our students with extra free in-yard training to practice their Schedule 1 backing, coupling, and uncoupling. We have our road test dates provided right after the program. So it's 6 weeks and then boom, right into your road test. There is no lag in the training. This is the best program for entry-level drivers with no commercial driving experience. And this program is what most employers that are hiring the entry-level drivers are looking for. It gives over the 200 hours of training. And again, it's all about real world. There are extra added programs, certificates that we give with that program as well. But for more information on that, they can visit the website.
Okay, perfect.
Now, another program that we have is our tractor trailer melt program. This program is 4 weeks in length. 1 week is theory, and then the 3 weeks of the hands-on training. This just gives you the bare minimum training you need in order to take your road test. We do throw in for free our air brake, TTSAO air brake course in that one as well. And then again, we book our road test dates, so there's no lag in training.
Perfect.
So those ones are our registered programs. And if somebody's looking at becoming a commercial transport driver, those would be the two that they could choose from.
Okay.
Now, again, if they've just have their G license, then in order for them to gain employment, the best one would be the AZ program for the 6 weeks. And it all has to do with insurance for the companies. So that's why most companies, to hire an entry-level driver, they need more time of training versus the bare minimum in order to road test, which would be the 4-week program. That one would be someone who's had their DZ license for a long time and want to upgrade, about 5 years they look at. Or someone, like I just had a call today, he previously had his AZ license and drove for like 20 years, but then gave it up. Now he's looking at getting it back again. So that would be another one because he can show employment history.
Right.
And that's what the insurance companies are looking for.
Oh, okay. So the melt's almost like kind of like a refresher program, or like
It's the bare minimum. So because the gentleman got his license prior to the melt being implemented, so there is no melt on file for him, which means he has to take the melt program all over again. Now, there's other A licensing. So we do provide what they call an AR license.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so like the AR license would be, and again, it has to do with weight, right? Let's say you have a pickup truck and you're going to have one of those trailers with an excavator on behind, right? Again, now the truck has to be weighted in order to be able to pull those trailers, all that stuff. But if that's over the 11,000 kilograms, and if the trailer is over that 4,600 kilograms, then they will require an AR license. So a lot of times when you see those horse trailers or a truck pulling an excavator behind, those guys would have to have an AR license to be legally driving those weights. So like even some of the cargo trailers, they're clamping down on a lot of businesses where they have the big enclosed cargo trailers that are loaded to the max. So once that weight class goes over, the MTO is and police are cracking down on that and pulling people over and checking the weight loads. So you want to make sure again that you're properly licensed for whatever you're driving or hauling.
Right.
The AR license will cover you. And again, you know, the same thing, you need your medical, you need to do the written, just like the other programs. And the only difference is the trailer cannot be air brake. So it has to be electric brake trailers or hydraulic brake trailers. It cannot be the air brake trailers they're pulling. Second, you get into the air brake trailers, now you got to go back up to the first and second program I was talking about, which is the AZ program and the AZ licensing.
Okay.
Now with the AR, like, so for an example, the hydro trucks, those trucks to drive, you need a DZ license.
Okay.
The trucks have air brake. Now, a lot of those trucks, if they're got the trailer on behind, those trailers are electric brake. So when you get the poles on it or whatever, the weight is over just the DZ license. So that's when they would then go for the AR, but then they would have to get the Z endorsement for them to be able to drive the truck. So at that point, it would be an A restricted class license with a Z endorsement. And that Z allows them to drive the truck, but not a trailer with air brake. It is really confusing.
That is
and a lot of yeah, a lot of people when they're calling to see what they need because they've been pulled over by the police or something like that, it does get really confusing. I don't make these licenses up, but then it gets even more confusing too, because with all these A programs that I mentioned, even the AR licensing, if you do the road test in an automatic vehicle,
okay,
you will then get a restriction on your license where you can only drive an automatic vehicle. For the AR, most people, their trucks are automatic. So they'll be doing it in an automatic, but they would be restricted where they wouldn't be able to jump into a vehicle then that was manual and drive, because they're restricted to just an auto. If you do your road test with a manual transmission, you do not get a restriction on your license. You're good to drive either or.
Okay. And what does NAP provide, like when you're doing that?
We provide the manual transmission truck because, again, for us, it's all about our students getting employment afterwards.
Right.
And we know in the North that you need to have your full AZ license. You cannot have it restricted to auto because the majority of the companies out here still have manual transmission trucks.
Right.
They can't have an employee that can't drive, 50% of their fleet. So that is the biggest thing for us is employment. So yes, all our students for the AZ program, they are done with the manual. Now for our AR program, if they're using our vehicle, then it would be in an automatic for the AR license.
Okay. So AZ is like the most complete, it sounds like, best for employment, best for, I guess, just sounds like the best.
It is. Yeah.
And the melt is like a very bare bones, you said, and then AR is a restricted, you wouldn't have the air brake in there. Is that kind of?
Yeah, you can't have a trailer with air brake. Yeah, you cannot drive a trailer with air brake.
Okay. So if anyone had any questions, they weren't sure, they could give you a call or they could visit the website and kind of get an idea of what they were looking for. Yeah,
for sure. I always love questions.
Okay.
So they can call me on my cell phone at 705-561-1464. They can also text me too. I do have a very high volume of calls. So a lot of times if they text me, then I'm able to answer back quick because I can multitask. I can be chatting away with one person on the phone, and I can, be answering text messages or emails at the same time so that nobody's waiting around to get information, especially if it's important.
Perfect. Well, I think this was really helpful. This was helpful for myself because I had no idea there was such thing as an AR license. I knew about the AZ and the MELT. So I think that was a really good overview for anyone who's thinking about becoming a driver. I know there's a lot of jobs out there. There's a lot of people hiring. So, I mean, it's a great thing to consider. So if anyone has any questions, make sure you reach out to Shannon because she has all of these answers. And thank you so much for joining. You shared a lot of really great information. So we appreciate it.
No problem, Leslie. It's been a pleasure, and thanks for having me again.
Star Podcast.
Whoa. Star Podcast.